with many others, for the international leaders meetings in Mosbach, Germany. I've heard that about 300 of our leaders from around the world will be present. Big issues to look at, and we really appreciate your prayers. Let me just give you an update on our ministry around the world briefly at the beginning of March. Logos 2 is now in the Caribbean, and the first port has been extremely encouraging. Thank you very much for your prayers. Doulos also is having an excellent time in Papua New Guinea, but would appreciate your ongoing prayers as these are critical days for the ship ministry, particularly as we seek God's will for the future of this overall ministry. Moving to world faiths, we were very encouraged in Turkey in January with the outreach in Istanbul. More than 70 participated in that outreach. 80,000 brochures were distributed. Local believers were encouraged to go into service as they witnessed people coming to faith. It's very encouraging to have one Turkish believer actually now serving on Doulos. Just received a very exciting report from the nation of Iran. In the midst of the greatest time of the growth of the church in almost 1500 years, you won't be surprised to know there's renewed and serious persecution. The Iranian parliament is about to pass new legislation that would make it illegal and automatically punishable by death for any Muslim to change his or her religious faith. We must pray that this law will not be passed. Please pray particularly for the wives of pastors. We find that they often face the brunt of serious intimidation. Recently, one of the pastor's wives was interrogated and their whole family threatened by police. We're involved in various mercy projects seeking to help the church in Iran at this time. In Central Asia, it's the coldest winter for many, many years. In Afghanistan, for example, the National Disasters Management Authority indicates that more than 500 people, mostly the young and the elderly, have died due to cold weather and heavy snow since December. Temperatures are getting down to minus 25. It's the harshest winter in 30 years. Operation Mercy is very active in this situation, distributing food to more than 500 vulnerable families. It's a similar situation in Tajikistan. It's the worst winter in 50 years, and a total loss of electricity is still a possibility. If that happens, there will be terrible consequences in that nation. Once again, Operation Mercy is involved. For example, they're in contact with a local maternity hospital, and they're appealing for help so that they can help there. They're providing such things as electric kettles, thermostats, or thermosflasks, to keep water warm, electrical oil radiators, diesel for the generator, and so on and so on. Please pray for Algeria. Religious freedom, which has been experienced during the recent years, seems to be coming to an end. There's increased pressure from the government. Muslim leaders of Islamic movements are looking to prevent Algerians from turning to Christ, and their tactics include the use of media, the use of informants, pressure on authorities to restrict Christian evangelism. We've had specific requests from Algerian believers for prayer. 3 brothers in particular have recently been threatened with 3-year imprisonments and a fine of 5,000 euros each. We've had a wonderful reunion in Ireland for people who took part in Teen Street last year and for many of their friends. 300 came together. The theme was Beyond 48, designed to help Irish young people go beyond a 48-hour event, which this was, and live their whole lives for Jesus. We're having various Teen Street reunions and youth events around Europe. Please pray. At the end of January, the first National Prayer Conference for Bosnia, which is going on all year, kicked into action. There were 1,000 believers, at most, there are 1,000 believers in the country of Bosnia, and 130 attended that launch of the year of prayer. In Sweden, in January, OM celebrated their 50th anniversary. Around 145 gathered in one of Gothenburg's largest churches to hear George Voer speak at an anniversary dinner. After that, about 450 people attended an evening service. Here in Carlisle last Sunday, we had our own 50th celebration. 300 or 400 from the local churches around here came to celebrate with us. And this is happening all over the world throughout our 50th year anniversary. In Russia, 21 missionary organizations, 100 staff and volunteers, a children's choir, a worship band, a solo violinist, and over 200 visitors took part in Mission Festival 2007. This was organized jointly by ourselves, Wycliffe, and the International Fellowship of Evangelical Students. The idea brought missions and churches in St. Petersburg together to show how God is using Russians in getting involved in world mission today. Please pray for Mozambique. In the past month, we've had a wonderful answer to prayer and a great tragedy. We asked prayer some time ago for the provision of a new vehicle, and God did just that. A second-hand Land Cruiser with 8 seats, an ideal vehicle for the job. And then we heard, very, very tragically, that the wife of our brother in that country, not our field leader, who's called Antonio, but another Antonio Nipudia, who is responsible for the work in part of that nation. His wife passed away from malaria. She's just a young lady, and my Associate International Director, Francois Vosloo, was able to go up from South Africa to be involved in the funeral. But we really appreciate your prayers for that family during this time of tragedy. Finally, let me take you to Mongolia, where our first land team of 4 people, 2 of them ex-Duloy people, left the capital Ulaanbaatar in late November to partner with 4 churches in central Mongolia. They did practical work, helping church leaders and church members, sawing wood, helping a missionary family finish their house. A real blessing as they were able to help them finish the fire, the oven, because the temperature there has also dropped to 20 centigrade below. They helped in a handicapped kindergarten, washing, feeding, changing, playing with the children, etc. On the first Sunday they were there, 10 people came to the worship service. The following Sunday, 40 came. 7 of them were new believers. Every Sunday the team taught new songs, led worship, preached and prayed for people after the service. The church is growing in Mongolia, and it's a privilege to be involved. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your prayers. Don't forget to pray for our international leaders meetings over the next 9 days. God bless you. Thanks for your fellowship.